and every day I practice martial arts.
Do you remember the footage of Bruce Lee? I mean, of course, you've seen it before, where he's on the set of Enter the Dragon, Han's Palace, and he's there with his teacher, Wong Sun Leung, and Wang Kam Leung is there, and they're doing like a test shot, for like they have this guy, Joey Chen, there, and he's kind of in the Bruce Lee role doing some light sparring with Wong Sun Leung. Well, he's been on YouTube recently. And this question actually comes from Sifu David Peterson, who's one of the late Wong Sun Leung's top disciples. And I asked him before, because he's someone I respect a lot, and he's also a huge Bruce Lee fan. I said, hey, I'm going to interview Matt Pauly on Tuesday. Do you have any questions for him? And he said that the persistent rumors that Bruce Lee's death was arranged by Raymond Chow. This is like something that it doesn't seem to go away. Now, I don't prescribe to it, obviously David Peterson probably doesn't either, but it's just something that doesn't seem to go away. And now this Joey Chen guy who's in this footage with Bruce Lee, he was on YouTube about a year ago talking that he is like 100% certain that Raymond Chow had something to do with it. Now, why do you think, is it just low-hanging fruit because he's the jealous producer, or was there anything there that, even if it's not true, why do people keep looking at Raymond Chow for this?
Well, I think it's the fact that there was only two people with Bruce Lee when he died. It was Betty Ting Pei or Raymond Chow. So if you think he was killed, it's one of those two, or both, right? And so if you start from the premise that he was murdered and it's a cover-up, then one of those two people have to be involved, and the somewhat ditzy actress girlfriend versus the older conniving producer.
Yeah. Right.
Who do you pick as the villain?
Yes.
I will say, I'd read all those things. I also know certain of Bruce's siblings believe it was Raymond Chow.
Wow.
So it's inside the family. To this day, they believe this, although they don't want to say it publicly.
Sure.
I had the rare chance to interview Raymond Chow. It's one of the things I'm most happy I got to do. And I sat down with him, and I tuned all my violence predator sensors at him. And it's an imperfect measurement, like Gaydar. I've spent years tuning that sensor, and what I got from him was, this is a guy who, if you handed him $100 and asked for it back, you would get 80. But if you were sitting there and he had a knife to your throat, he wouldn't cut. He's not, there are guys who are thieves and there are guys who are killers, and he's not a killer. He just doesn't have any of that vibe. And the most important thing to understand was he was a guy running a struggling studio, and Bruce Lee was his star. And no matter what Bruce Lee did to him or offended him or whatever, this was before DVDs. If your star died, you weren't making any more money. You couldn't cash in on their stardom. So he was not a man who would kill his golden goose.
Sure.
Under any circumstances.
And I think...
Word is I'm a kung fu genius. Technique speaks for me, not lineage. Forget Jet Li, cause I'm the one. Many call me seafood, but to you I'm sea kung. And I produce...